Hello everyone, I'm Giuseppe from Simulation Daily, and today we're in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 to try something interesting. We're going to try and learn to fly the Boom XB-1. It's the supersonic demonstrator that basically is supposed to herald the new era of supersonic airliner flight. Of course, this is not an airliner. It's a scaled-down version of the airliner they're supposed to build, and it actually looks a lot more like a fighter than an airliner. So we are removing all of our covers right now, making sure that everything is taken off. Take off the chocks as well. You should have a mechanic take it off for you, but it's fine. Then we go inside. So this is the first time I fly this, and I'm going to learn it with you, basically. We are going to follow the checklist, which is exactly what you should do to learn an aircraft if you don't have a manual. So we have removed the pitot covers, we have removed the engine covers, we removed the chocks, we removed the instrument cover. By the way, this is the PC version, but whatever version you're gonna fly, it's going to be the same. My voice is a little bit meh today because I have a bit of a cold, so forgive me if I sound a little weird. So, and by the way, when you follow the checklist, you can check off every item, and you can click on look at to see where you're looking at something. Bleeder button under pressure and depressed, which means that it's like covered. Cabin switch. The pressure ride, airflow switch, it's on off. Air temperature knob is on auto. Battery switch is on off. Yes, and it's also guarded. Generator switch, it is the first thing that we actually have to turn on, because most of this first page is a list of checks you do to make sure that your aircraft has been left how it should be the last time it's been used. Generator switch, it is already in on. Avionics knob, it's on off. Backup hydraulic pump knob is in off. Anti-skid switch is in auto. Fuel transfer knob, it's in off. Fuel supply primary and secondary buttons, they are under pressure, okay? Engine fire lights, they are on the other side and they are under pressure, okay? Landing gear handle is down. Your roll pitch and ARI knobs are off. Your roll and Q fill knobs, which I believe it is, are off. Throttles are off, and they are not. For some reason, this aircraft always spawns with the throttles in this position, which shouldn't be. So you pull them back, and to put them in off, you need to click on the cutoff there. Otherwise, they won't go, and which is a little annoying. So pull back and cut off. And so we completed the first page. Then we go on starting engine, external power, connect. We go outside for a moment. The external power port is here. And you click here. External power is connected. Go back in. Battery switch on. So we unguard it and we pull it to on. Avionics knob was in landing bus. CAS messages. We check the CAS messages, which are these. CAS means Crew Alert System, which is this page here. We have two pages, so we go page down and we can get the second page. NFD ENS page, we go in ENS. You need to click this button here to go in the corresponding thing. This dot shows you the external power is on when it's green. NFD ENS page, select, we just did it. Avionic knobs go to on. DAS switch, and that turn on these avionics here. DAS switch goes in Rack TM. This one. Bingo set. Okay. This is a little bit obscure. When I was faffing with it a little bit before, I managed to like casually find out how it works. So you have your initial and your bingo fuel here, and if you go into the fuel page, you can see that you have 5.3 initial. So you go back into here, and by clicking fuel again, and then you have inc to increment the number. So we have 5.3, 5. Next goes into the next digit, go to 3, and the next digit again goes to 0. Then next digit again will go to bingo. We'll just have 1 on bingo fuel. Oh, got wrong. 1, and next dot 0. And then you see the bingo indication here, since now it's selected, will disappear because we're not at bingo fuel. We have 5.3 fuel. We have 5.3. So now that bingo is selected, we can go into cabin altitude. We check it, it's 100 meters. CAS messages, we check it again. It asks us to check the CAS messages a lot of times. Light test switch, we test our lights, and we see that all of them turn on. Then we put that back where it was. Annunciator test panel. This is it. We tested with this little button here, and all of them turn on just to make sure. Engine fire lights, they're here. Need to depress and undepress. Okay, and check that these turn on. Okay. Depress and undepress, and then guard them again. External power off. And we need to verify that the battery is going to discharge. So yeah, I have set a button for the external power for better accessibility. There you go. Red, and the battery is discharging here. Then flight controls, verify that they are clear. They are. Pedals too. They are. Okay. Backup hydraulic pump knob goes into auto. Oops, not on auto. Util hydraulic pressure should go up between 2,850 and 3,150, which it is. Utility low pressure light, it's off. This one is one. The cap hydraulic pump knob goes into on. External power, we'll reconnect it. I'm still using the button. Oh, sorry. Connect it. Fuel supply secondary light. Press and undepress to test them. Press and undepress both of them, and then we close our canopy. There you go, and it's locked. Second page is done. Then third page, let's start by starting the engine. Let's get a nice close view to our engines. Actually, let me go to the nice external view, so I can get a nice and close view of the engine, so I can show you when they turn on. Let's see, let's start button push, and release. And we can see here the engine is pulling up, the RPM is going up, and we need to Check the flight hydraulic pressure is within 3000, and it is. And when it reaches 12%, we put the first throttle in idle. That will let it start spooling up to 50%. This is where its idle power should be. And you can see it's powering up. Let's go back in our cockpit. It's already 45, 46 white, so we can go on. Flight low pressure light is off, which is here, and it is. Engine RPM fuel flow monitor, okay, they were already done that. Generator light cast verified clear, it is. Yes. Yes, there is no gen here. External power off. Generator and S-volts voltage at 28. Left throttle at 62. And now the S-bus went to 28 as well. Before it wasn't, but now that the left throttle is 62, it went up. Battery switch off. Verify the generator carries. This is easily done. Basically, the generator carries because this did not turn off. Means that the generator is carrying electricity from the engine to the instruments and everything else. Otherwise, everything will shut off without the battery. Flight controls check. Yes, go. Back at hydraulic pump knob goes into auto, which is this one. Utility hydraulic pressure is right. Utility low pressure light, this one is off. Flight controls check again. Backup hydraulic pressure pump off. Battery goes back to on because it should be on. We were just checking the generator right now. And then the left throttle goes back to idle. So we have checked that we had a good start. The generator is connected. Now we start the center engine. So we start the button. And now this will go above 12. And when it goes above 12, we will put it into idle. By the way, whenever you finish a page, it will give you a little check mark here, so you're sure that you've done everything. Okay, it's a 12. Go into idle. Take a look outside. As it spools up. Should already be ready or close. 37, 30, 40, okay. Should turn white right now, okay. Center throttle is in idle. And we monitor this. So we start the right engine, same drill. Press, wait for 12. Put the throttle into idle. Boom. Then we monitor it until it goes to EGT. Okay, it started. Then the backup hydraulic pump knob goes into auto. And before taxi, external power goes off. Cabin switch is pressurized. Airflow switch is on. It is. Canopy is already down and locked. Cabin altitude is 100. Perfect. Cabin switch depressurized. Now we are going to check that the cabin is fine. Yes. Cabin altitude check. Pressurize again. Airflow switch goes into RAM. Air temperature knob in auto. Center throttle is in idle. Fuel transfer knob goes in auto. Your roll pitch and ARI knobs, which is basically this aircraft has no autopilot, but these knobs are important because they're dampers and make sure that the controls have constant pressure. The aircraft remains controllable at all speeds. Yaw limiter knob auto, and also auto. Verify rotation indicator I. Rotation indicator it is in I. Verify Q pitch fuel indicator is low. It is low. Trim set for take off. It is how much? Does it tell us 0 roll, 0 yaw, 12 pitch? So we have to go really. I bet 12 is where this green thing is. It indeed is. So looks like it takes off with a really strong uptrim. You need to be careful not to climb too hard later. OVR page, select. Fuel transfer knob. Okay, we have to check all the fuel transfer. So it goes into forward. It is forward. ETM it is. After it is. And mid it is. And then goes back into auto. And you've done all these passages here. Then canopy it is closed. We already did this. Did I forget to check something? Oh, I forgot to check the external power off, but it is off. Taxi. Everything is checked. The brakes are functional. Attitude heading okay. Transponder we're not using ATC, so we don't care. Okay. Let's give us a little bit of zoom. Alrighty. And we go. Before takeoff, cast message check. We have one cast message for now, but I think that's going to disappear after I throttle up and start moving. Your old is okay. ENS page. Yes, it did exactly. Flight controls check. OVR page back on that. Trim is set. Anti-skid switch is auto. Backup hydraulic pump is auto. This is all auto. Okay. Then we go to in-flight and takeoff. So we have to go to our runway, which will be 27L. So we can remove the parking brake and start moving. You will notice that your forward visibility is almost nil. which is not great, but it is what it is. I'm going to taxi perhaps a little bit faster than I should, because I don't want you to have to wait for hours while I taxi. Probably gonna be a little boring. By the way, this aircraft has no flaps. 0. One less thing to worry about while we take off, I suppose. And one less thing to help us while we land. Landing this aircraft is going to be challenging. Just so you know. Okay. By the way, I haven't told you what we're doing here. We're basically doing a little cheeky flight that is interesting because this aircraft only really flew in the US. But we are, since it's basically a spiritual successor to Concorde, we are paying homage to the Concorde by doing a flight from Paris de Gaulle and the London Heathrow. We're basically doing some sort of fictional demonstration flight. Like we're saying, this is the first flight that will show that this concept of an airliner can connect cities really quickly is a valid concept, basically. We are at the stop bar. Check that no one's coming, no one's landing on this side, no one is going to take off that side, so we can proceed. Okay, we are lined up, brakes hold, and we spool up the engines individually to make sure that they respond. Engine 1 responds, engine 2 responds, engine 3 responds. By the way, I don't have a 3-engine 3-throttle controller, so I have all the throttles on one axis, but that way when I have to actually move only one engine, I have to do it with my mouse. Because 3-throttle controller is pretty rare. Center throttle max is required, doesn't need it. Nose wheel recentered a little bit. There you go. Even too much, but it's fine. Meantime, fuel quantity is fine. Throttles, 85%. Release the brakes. Throttles will max. and 120 we will pull in the afterburner. 160 we rotate gently. We have positive climb, so we pull up the landing gear. Let's not go up too much. Definitely don't need that much trim. Okay, we detached from the ground, so we can drop the afterburner a little bit, not too much, because the afterburner, it sucks a lot of energy. Of course it does. And we'll simply line up with our... So we've done this, and after takeoff, landing gear handle is up, switch is on, transponder is fine. We don't have ATC, so we don't care about the transponder. Climb, computer oxygen is checked. Okay, we are pressurized, we are fine. Altimeter is required. Fine. It's a standard. The next is sent, so we don't need these anymore. Just need to climb to our destination altitude. Or sorry, cruise altitude, which is 35,000, and it's going up real fast, as you can see. There is a little glitch that I'm going... I think it's a glitch, because I have never used Avidyne MFDs like these, and they are very new. They exist. They made them only for these aircraft, and they made them so that normally I should be going in this direction, but sometimes I don't know how and why. It'll just actually go toward the lower part of the screen. So you will need to be careful that you're basically inverted. By the way, there is no autopilot. As I say, this is all stick and rudder. They have these dampers that help, but they will not control your aircraft. So you basically need to be careful, make sure that you're always controlling your aircraft, you're always trimming it, and the trim is very sensitive, so you'll basically be trimming it all the time, especially to stay close to the cruise altitude. I would not even expect you or anyone really to stay fixed on the cruise altitude. That's super difficult. By the way, if you look at the fuel flow with the afterburner at the minimum right now, it's double than without the afterburner. We're gonna keep the afterburner on until we reach our top of climb, and then we're gonna see what kind of speeds we can reach. Oh, see, I'm literally going the opposite direction, so I was getting this wrong, but it's fine. Okay, correct. And we are in Mach 83, which is a very good clip for climbing. It's very cloudy. We're not going to see much of the ground, unfortunately, but the clouds in this simulator look fantastic. And by the way, we are on PC. Did I say that? This is completely unscripted, by the way. So if I repeat myself, if I say something stupid, if I say that's because I'm not following a script. I'm literally just talking and chatting away. So our climb, as you can see, we already went down to 3.9 fuel, which is pretty significant. I think we can continue the climb without the afterburner. Let's see. And military power. Military power, by the way, is lingo to say top power without, the maximum power without the afterburner. It is lowing considerably, but like now that the air is thinner, it should be perfectly okay for our climb. And as you can see, at military power, the fuel consumption went down to 1.6, which is half than with the afterburner at minimum power. If you push the, let me show you. If I push the afterburner at maximum power, the fuel flow goes up to 5.6, and I'm already high. If you push it at sea level, it's going to be 8 dot something. Power. Infinite power. Okay, let's not go overboard. Otherwise, we're gonna be without fuel by when? By when we get to England. See, following a track when this is inverted is a little bit challenging. I suppose keep these on, but I don't like obscuring so much my view, which is already obscured, as you can see. It's crazy how little you can see outside of this aircraft. Okay, we are 34,000. We can push a little bit more. 35,000. I need a little bit of more up trim. Stay straight. And we are going at a comfortable 260 knots without afterburner. The fuel flow of 1.1, which is very little. This actually consumes very little power without afterburner when it's at altitude, which is fantastic. Because we already consume a lot, 2,000 gallons of fuel. Did I say right? Sorry, gallons are. I don't speak gallons. But, so yeah. Now that we are at almost at 35, I want to see how much I can push this with every level of afterburner. So with the maximum afterburner, well, I will go up very fast. So let him get close to Mach 1. And when we are close to Mach 1, I am going to drop the power, and I'm going to let inertia do the rest of the work to get us over Mach 1. It is kind of quiet for a jet, which is basically the point. The idea is that it will pass Mach 1 without a sonic boom, which basically is what was problematic with Concorde. With Concorde, they had a sonic boom and it was very noisy, which meant that many nations actually forbade the Concorde to pass over their urban centers. Okay, I can drop the We're almost on the English Channel, so let's drop the afterburner. And if you as you can see with afterburner at this lower level, the fuel flow is not too high. It's 1.7, which is not much higher than what we had before. Oh, I actually overshoot the altitude. I was looking at the speed, so I can actually afford to dive a little bit, which will increase our speed over Mach 1, hopefully. Let's not dive it too much, because this thing actually takes a little bit to get back to level flight when it takes a little bit of effort. And we are now over the English Channel. Yeah, we can see the coastline there. 96. It apparently needs a slight more kick to go past the Mach 1. We're going to try to do the part over the English Channel at Mach 1. Let's see if we manage. So it's 72 in level flight, and now it's growing. Mach 1. See, now I'm diving a little bit too much. Mach 1. Let's see if we can get to Mach 1.7, which is the speed the demonstration did. 1.2. And the fuel flow, though, it grew to 3.4 with the afterburner like this. 0.2. I'm climbing slightly, which I should, because I'm a little under my speed there. 0.3. Probably gonna be stuck at 0.3. It's climbing slowly. I'm also climbing. 4. You can see the fuel is decreasing quickly. And I need to retrim it. 5. 6. Can you get to 7? 7. We are at Mach 1.7. Turn a little bit. Mach 1.8. So I will decrease the throttle a little bit. Drop the afterburner and the fuel consumption. We have reached our Mach goal. And we are going to proceed in minimum afterburner from now on, and then we will turn off the afterburner completely when we are over past the English Channel. And we are almost on the other side, as you can see. Be careful not to dive too much, because I wasn't controlling it while I was in the external camera. I gave it too much down trim. Now I'm Mach 1.2 because I lowered the afterburner to the minimum position. Mach 1.1, we're probably going to drop under Mach 1. We actually, it's about time we start to descend, by the way, because we will need to be fairly low fairly quickly when we get to the other side of the English Channel. because the London Heathrow is not too far. Gotta trim it a little bit. Now we are subsonic again. Because we're lowering. We climbed a little bit. We're probably gonna be supersonic again while we're going to while we descend a little bit. .6. See, it really quaffs fuel like crazy, and we're again in Mach 1, Mach 102. Of course, in the dive, it's easy to stay supersonic, but we are going to be nice to England and not be supersonic on its territory. So we are actually going to start lowering to military power when we are on English soil. We are over the coastline and we are quickly descending. This aircraft, by the way, descends really quickly, and I should, because as you can see, it wants me to be at flight level 180 by ATVAX. I probably overshoot it, by the way. I'll probably be a little bit higher, but it's fine. This is the test flight, so. Careful to follow our descent profile. Now that we are really going down, we can afford lowering the engine a lot, because we basically burned over half of our fuel now. Which is impressive. This thing really wants fuel, loves fuel. Let's see what our next constraint is. We're going to be over Biggin Hill, and we don't have constraints until we are close to London. When we are at London, but then it's going to be about 3,000 feet. So we can go down pretty quickly, but like not crazy quickly. We're still on Mach 0.96, so we are fast. Like, fast. So what do we have to do for our landing? Descent. This is fine. We should set the altimeter, and we're gonna see at London where it is. Before landing, approach landing, estimate 160 knot plus. Probably, yeah, plus 6 knots per ton. Landing gear handle down. So basically the only thing we really have to worry about is to drop the landing gear. So now, let's see the weather in London. AGLL. Where is 1014 HPA? That's a little scary. The wind is 14 knots from 230 degrees. That means 9 knots of crosswind on landing. It's going to be fun. What can you do? Heathrow can be a pretty windy airport. It's 29.94. So we put 29.94, which is our landing QNH. We are about to pass Biggin Hill, famous Biggin Hill Airport. made famous by the Battle of Britain. And now we turn. And will soon be over London. Next, our next constraint is going to be at 3000, so we shouldn't go too low. That is London right there. We have some sort of zigzagging pattern that it helps slow down. It is the same that the airliners follow, by the way, as ATC vectors them to like they put them in a line so that they can land affordably. We have 2000 left fuel, so only the main tank. It shows you how much fuel that this thing guzzle. Okay, let's keep it level now. See it level. Okay, I can definitely lower the speed a little bit more. While I follow our pattern. I'm gonna fly over London. We're actually going to overfly Heathrow. Is our destination. More up trim. Nice view of London right there. London is beautiful in this simulator, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. Now it's time to turn on our ILS. Our ILS, unlike other aircraft, will not actually like just fly us to that destination. It's just, it tells us how to line up, but we have to do everything manually, which is very challenging because at the same time we have two stadiums there. At the same time we have to check our speed, everything. So basically now I am going to zoom in really close to this instrument, because everything else is basically just a distraction. We're a little wide on our pattern, but not much we can do about that. These navigation patterns are not made for a supersonic jet. I mean, I could do something about it, but I don't really need to. Take a look at London right there. So then I can definitely lower my speed. Interesting. Heathrow in front of us, so let's give us a nice zoomed view. We are almost lined up. And drop lower. Lower speed. Your eye. Okay, we are better now. Turn down the land gear. Great Drag and L pass. And the FLV is on. There we go. See, this is basically your frontal view. I wish I had my puppies here. We're fast, so let's slow down a bit. I'm going to be not very coordinated here. I will tell you at the height of time, because I mean, this is the first time I land this, and this lands like a fighter. I'm an airliner guy. Okay, I'm going too slow. Don't let it slow down too much. So basically you need to kind of try and keep that thing within the green bracket. Don't let it speed up too much. Ooh. This is not fantastic. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of sleep. And touchdown. I was far from perfect, but it wasn't bad, I believe. I did a side slip to get into alignment, but hey, whatever works. For being the first time I land this thing, no damage. I actually did not batter it, but did not like hit down really hard. So we are at London Heathrow. Welcome to London Heathrow, guys. I'm just gonna take it a little bit of runway as much as I want, because, you know, I could have definitely taken that exit, but I'm gonna take the next. The next one that I don't have a crazy angle to go. Well, guys, FLV is off, ILS off. Do I have to do anything after landing? And we're gonna take the next exit first of all, before landing, post-flight. After landing, airflow switch off. We're gonna do it after we correctly exited the runway. I don't want to cause an accident. A little bit of throttle. And I am going to just follow the airliner and go park near to where he parks, because why not? Let's say that we have there are our escort, since we just made history. So airflow goes in off. Cabin switch goes into the pressurize. Cabin altitude is fine. We're at 0. These switches go off. And the trims goes to 0 degrees. After you land, it's always a good idea to review what you could have done better. Of course, the lining up to the runway was far from perfect. 9 knots of crosswind is no joke on an aircraft we're not familiar with. I also pulled back on the throttle too early before touching down, which resulted in a harder landing than it could have been, although still okay on this kind of aircraft. And the landing gear held nicely. At that point, I was just focusing on putting this thing down, and it worked out. I'll certainly have to train my approaches and make them more stable on the boom, which is not forgiving at all. Welcome to Heathrow, guys. We made it, despite the fact that this was a fairly eventful flight, with a little bit of, landing suspense. You thought I wouldn't make it, didn't you? Actually, I have almost zero training in flying fighter jets. I used to a long time ago, like in other... in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I do fly a little bit of a DCS, but this is not an F-18. Absolutely is not. And by the way, I'm still learning the F-18 and DCS, so... There you go. Welcome to Heathrow. Is there a... Yes, there is a parking for us. We're going to park at the British Airways area, like a good spiritual successor of Concorde should do, right? It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I hate that message. I really wish we had a way to turn it off. Because with Sim Update 4, even if you go over a little bit, as you can see, the frame rate is remaining pretty stable. So it's not as much of a problem as it used to be. So let's just line up. This thing skids a little bit if you turn too much. So there you go. We can expect crowds ready to welcome us at the gate, and we will stop here in the parking brake. Not exactly at the bar, but doesn't matter. And welcome to London Heathrow. Someone's taking off there. So let's get back into our cockpit. Yeah, I get it. I get it, really. I get it that resource usage... It wobbles a little bit. I don't know, sometimes this aircraft wobbles a little bit. It doesn't matter. We're going to just do the engine shutdown procedure. So, chocks on. We're going to go outside for a moment and put the chocks on. There you go. See that? It wobbles a little bit. It keeps wobbling even with the shocks. Fuel transfer knob off. Throttles go off. And the engines are turning on, off. Ensure backup hydraulic power is pump providing pressure. Okay, well, it's an auto, so it probably is. Well, it doesn't need any more, so off. Canopy open. Avionics knob. I love how the sound changes when you open your canopy. Avionics knob off. And battery switch, which we should have guarded, we forgot, goes off. And our aircraft is back to cold and dark, and it's still wobbling a little bit because probably there is some little glitch between the airport's terrain and the landing gear. It's fine. Wobbly airplane, yay! So let's take a good look outside. Look at this beauty. Well, welcome to Heathrow, guys, and thank you for flying with us. This was a very experimental flight, but it worked pretty well as a first flight. I could have landed better, but I could have landed much worse. So, thank you for watching. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. That's always super helpful. You can also leave a comment if you have feedback. We always enjoy reading them. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We hope to see you again soon here on Simulation Daily's YouTube channel and on the site. We have plenty of content coming because our flight simulation coverage never stops.